In this video we'll be talking to Alex, one of our frame designers, and also we'll talk to an Oakwrights homeowner who will describe the experience.
So the beauty of designing the oak frame and putting the joints in within this software is that we can actually go inside the timbers.
We still look around and go, nah, is this really our house?
To explain all about frame design, I have with me today Alex Knowles. Alex actually now has moved on from designing oak frames to teaching the new younger designers.
I'm an oak frame and encapsulation designer. I've been here coming up for 4.5 years now. I spent 5 months in the oak frame workshop and 1 month out on site, and then I was shipped off straight to Germany to learn the software which we use to design our oak frames in. So on average per designer we're probably working on about 5 to 8 projects per year, and we have around 15 to 16 designers, and these jobs can take anything from 3 months up to sort of 6 to 7, 8 months depending on the size of the house and also wanting to fill the client's expectations. The oak frame journey in the design of that starts with the architectural department, and we then link together after the planning has been approved, and we start bringing what they've put together in their 3D model to life in our one-to-one scale software. The key thing to remember is that not only do we have the pre-manufacture in the workshop behind us, which obviously speeds up the site process, but we also are pre-manufacturing the house in our 3D model to a one-to-one scale, so this really does save a lot of time. So the beauty of designing the oak frame and putting the joints in within this software is that we can actually go inside the timbers where we've got multiple timbers coming in. We can pre-plan where the mortise and tenons are actually going to be. So with the press of a button, we can see inside or through, and then we can also go up into the timbers and see where it all meets. So as you can see here, we have our oak frame design and also an encapsulation design in the same 3D model. All of the construction of the wall system and the oak frame, and we can make sure that all of the areas meet together. And this also where we divide the panels into the sizes that we're going to send them to site in. So you can see we create all of the window openings, the structural openings. Okay, so here we have one of the frames that's inside this oak frame. And what I'm going to show you now is how we actually put one of the mortise and tenons into this frame within the software. So it really is as quick and as simple as pressing on the timber that you want to create the tenon from and pressing on the timber that you want to create the mortise from. And you can see, there we go, there we have it. So if we then view this in the rendered software, you can see that this timber and this post now has a tenon cut on it as quickly as that. Quicker than the machine's going to do it, but also then a lot quicker than the human's going to be able to cut it. So this is the 3D model which we'll present to the clients, and as you can see we have all of the external elements, the brickwork, the weatherboard, the tile finish on the roof. We also have the joinery and our very own face glazing system, so we can walk them around the outside of their house, and as I say, it's the first time they're seeing the house in a one-to-one scale. And then once we've been around the outside, we'll go inside the front door, go through each room, go through each floor, looking at how the oak frame interacts with the internal walls, the kitchen, the stairs, everything that's going to be inside that oak frame home. So obviously, as well as you can see in the background, we have this big window which opens up into the factory, so it's really good to be so close to the manufacturing of the the panel systems and the oak frame that we build. Questions that the team have, they can give us a call, we can go down and we can see them in the workshop and hopefully answer any questions that they have.
Hi Steve, good to see you.
Hi, good to see you both.
Steve, we're talking today about oak frame design of houses, and we have Alex here who actually designed part of your oak frame development. I thought it'd be nice to talk about how you first came across Oakwrights and go back to the history and work our way up to the point, and then we'll talk in detail about the oak frame design.
I'd never heard of Oakwrights actually until I met a friend of mine in the next village along to me here in Warwickshire, who happened to be David Gray, your sales director. I just mentioned to Rachel one day that I was thinking of building a house at the back of my garden. She said, "Oh, you should talk to David. He's a builder." I said, "Oh, really? I didn't know that."
How did the planning process all run for you?
It was sort of a logical process, really. I mean, David was very good at introducing us to oak frames. We knew we wanted to build a house. We wanted to probably do something a little bit different. Oak framing was part of that. I'd seen it somewhere. I mean, I'm not a builder, I'm not technical at all, but I just like the look of them. When he showed us your show home down in Hereford, we went down for a weekend once. Helen and I really, really liked that show home. Started to get a bit more serious. I had a look at a few other manufacturers, as you do, but none of them wanted to take on the size of the project, which was a complete build from the ground up. Sort of inevitable, really. And then David introduced us to Pete Tonks, one of the architects you use quite regularly, I think. And Pete came round and he was very, very good.
Yes, the architectural side is very important. We always try and make sure the houses are designed to the way that the customer, how they live their lives, and that's great to hear that that process seemed to work quite well there. How is my house actually going to work? And that is the time where Alex and the design team become involved, and they start to look in more detail, the finite detail of how is the oak frame going to work, what trusses are going to be incorporated, what works really well. As I remember rightly, you worked with Sarah, didn't you, on the design side, and how did that all go?
We went from a nice little architect's drawing that was submitted for planning, and it all looked very nice, and you could see exactly how big the building was going to be, and we wanted a lot of glass, etc. And then when Pete said, right, well, I'm going to hand this over to the Oakwrights design team, we thought, yeah, okay. And then it took a few months, but that's okay. And then Sarah came back to us, introduced herself and said, look, this is what I've come up with. And at that point, I think I appreciated exactly how much detail she had gone into. I mean, it was down to millimeters. And I thought, well, that's reassuring, number one, because it means that the building is got integrity. But number two, how fine-tuned your engineering team would make the building. And that was really quite impressive. We weren't, waiting desperately for our house to be built. We had time on our side, so we could afford to take 3 years from introducing ourselves to Pete through to getting planning permission. We could spend the time with Sarah and the engineering team, and I think that is so important, because if you rush it, you end up making it wrong or not quite what you want. With the time to go into the detail, you really do end up getting what you need and what you want.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
All right, nice to see you. Bye now.
Press like if you've enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, put them in the comments and we'll answer them for you. And if you'd like to see more videos about behind the scenes at Oakwrights, please subscribe. There's going to be plenty more coming.